It was a warm Sunday afternoon when it happened. Max, my golden retriever, had been acting like his usual hyper self, chasing birds, barking at squirrels, and digging holes like he was on a treasure hunt. We lived in a house near the woods, the kind where nature starts to reclaim the backyard if you don't mow every week. I had just poured myself a cold drink when I heard Max barking frantically. It wasn't his usual bark. It was sharp, panicked, like a scream. I ran outside, calling his name. I found him near the woodpile at the back edge of the yard, bristling, backing away from something. That's when I saw it. A snake, long, green-black scales glistening, eyes like molten gold. It was coiled tightly, tail twitching. Max lunged, and the snake struck. Fast. Too fast for me to stop it. It latched onto Max's leg, and in a blink, it slithered into the tall grass and vanished. I rushed Max to the vet, my heart pounding, barely keeping my hand steady on the wheel. He whimpered the whole way there, the bite swelling with unnatural speed. At the clinic, the vet examined the wound and frowned. "This isn't from any local species," she muttered. "The venom is strange." Max's skin around the bite had begun to darken, not bruising. It looked more like black roots crawling under his fur. The vet pumped him full of anti-venom and painkillers and told me to keep a close eye on him. That night, Max didn't eat. He didn't move much. He just stared at the wall, his eyes glassy. I figured the meds had knocked him out. I lay beside him on the floor, whispering to him, telling him he'd be okay. But in the silence, I noticed something else. He wasn't blinking. I tried to brush it off as trauma. Max had been through a lot. But the days that followed made me question everything I knew about my dog. He still followed me from room to room like he always did. But something was off. He didn't wag his tail. He didn't perk up when I said his name. It was like he was observing me. Worse, he never blinked. His eyes had changed color, from warm brown to a muddy green. And no matter how long he stared, those eyes never closed. I tested it once. I held a flashlight to his face. Nothing. One night, I woke up and found him sitting in the hallway, perfectly still, staring straight into my room, just watching. The next morning, I found him under the kitchen table, chewing something. When I looked closer, I recoiled. It was a dead bird, but not torn apart like a normal dog kill. It was gutted, neatly, surgically, eyes removed. Max looked up at me with that unblinking gaze and dropped the bird at my feet. That same day, I noticed something else. His leg, the one that had been bitten, no longer had any fur. The skin had turned leathery. It didn't look like dog skin. It looked like scales. I took him back to the vet. She examined him silently, then stepped back, pale. "This isn't a reaction," she whispered. "It's a transformation." I asked what that meant, but she shook her head. "I don't know. Just keep him inside, away from others." That night, Max did something he never did before. He stood on his hind legs, just for a second, at the edge of my bed, staring at me. He didn't growl. He didn't bark. But in the silence, I heard it again, that same soft hissing sound I remember from the woods. I started locking my bedroom door at night. It sounds crazy, I know, but Max wasn't acting like a dog anymore. He didn't respond to toys or treats. He didn't even flinch when I yelled. And that hissing sound, it had become more frequent. Sometimes I'd hear behind walls. Sometimes it echoed back at me in the hallway, where Max would just be standing, waiting. One night, I heard scratching at the basement door. I opened it and saw Max standing at the bottom of the stairs, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. I shut the door. But in the morning, the door was open. I was sure I had locked it. Max was gone. I found him outside by the tree line, staring into the woods. As I approached, I noticed something horrifying. His shadow didn't match his body. Where his tail should have been, there was a flickering serpent's tail. And in the shape of his ears, I saw 2 small horns curling backward. I called his name. He turned to me, slow, deliberate, and then he spoke, not in a voice like a man, not barking like a dog, but in a low, guttural hiss that vibrated the air around us. "Not Max." I stumbled back. He walked toward me. No, slithered, though his body still looked like a dog's. But with each step, his spine shifted, bones popping, legs bending in reverse. His mouth split wider than it should have, revealing rows of sharp, thin teeth. I locked myself in the house. I haven't left in days. He still roams outside, watching the windows, waiting. I don't know what that snake did to Max, but I know one thing. That's not my dog anymore.